I just muted myself.
Oh,
Sorry.
no problem. Thanks for joining. So, see the cons. I mean, here I was thinking about a very fresh idea about meditation, and then suddenly I kind of lost it. But we'll get it. We'll get there, right? So, I mean, this Sunday we had a session. I asked about what is meditation. So we this I have seen no one ever touched on this subject exhaustively. The previous master, Chariji, he was very narrative, verbal, uh, and he spoke almost 35 years straight, but I don't think he has exhausted the topic. So, and Babuji has written volumes about it. And you go to any religious literature, volumes have been written, but no one has even scratched the surface. Okay, because it is it is not that it is vast. It is that it is ever moving target. So we can never ever completely exhaust it. But the interesting idea is that, see, the concept, I think Lalaji in his book, he touched upon this concept, but he did not elaborate it further. So he spoke about when the first mind has formed, first mind in the sense when the consciousness sort of began, it formed its own identity. You can call this identity as ego. So ego is not an attitude here. In this context, ego is an identity. So it felt separation from its creator, from the real essence, because now it has identity. So then there is he and I. So this I-ness has begun. But ever since this I is, what it is doing? It's an interesting concept, idea though, very novel. What this I is doing is it is either trying to annihilate him or annihilate itself, because it likes this idea of being only one. This concept is called, in Indian tradition, it is called Advaita. Not this concept that there is only one is the concept. There is only God and everything else is part of God. So there is one God. One God in the sense, one creator. Don't confuse between the religious concept of God and the God I am talking about here, correct? So there is only one creator. And then there is also a concept of Dvaita, means two. Dvi means two. Two means there is an I-ness, there is I am and the creator. I and the creator are separate. In the Advaita, the oneness concept, there's only created, everything else is part of that creator. And they went even one step further and they said, there is only creator, rest everything is a mere reflection. Means it's not real. Something like that, the concept. Again, it goes into, a lot of different thoughts. But here what I'm talking about is this I can only think of one, either itself or God. So when it wants to only think about God, that concept we feel it as love. love towards an entity. And this love, whatever that concept of love is, that it wants to annihilate itself. It wants to merge into that which it loves. It wants to give itself to that which it truly loves. It doesn't want to remain by itself. And then there is a concept of hate, is it wants to annihilate the other. It cannot coexist with the other one. So in the concept of love, we created God. In the concept of hate, we created anti-God. Okay. So now that these are both are imaginary, by the way. And now both are basically attacking us. Now we became the center for the anti-God and the God. Because anti-God wants us to sin and the God wants us to judge. Both are working against our own development. But that's a side note. But the real concept is, so everything, anything, the whole approach, the inner approach of life, whether we like it or not, whether we subscribe to it or not, whether we believe it in it or not, it is wanting to merge into this higher essence. Okay. Either it wants to absorb the whole essence or it wants to lose itself and get merged into the essence. Either way, it is trying internally. But because of the separation, the fear has started. That's why they say, the fear of death. But the real fear is the fear about the fear itself. So these are all these fears, everything kind of developed as an impression we talk about in heartfulness, and that's what we are cleaning. So, but the meditation is another attempt where neither is annihilated, but we can become one as a coexistence. There is no concept of losing one. But the problem is, because of our inner nature, innate nature, instead of transcending, we are trying to become one. So this whole concept of yoga as becoming one is, to begin with itself, is a wrong concept. When I can transcend this whole idea. See, that's why I touched upon it very lightly in the last discussion. We are always trying to overcome our negatives. And I have been talking about this so many times. Even in one of the, if you remember one of the talks, I said, suppose you enter a dark room and you can reach the light switch. Would you turn on the light? Or would you say, I will turn on the light only after the darkness goes away? Which one would you do? The common sense is you turn on the light. The darkness goes away by itself. Correct? But when it comes to the devotional aspects, spiritual aspects, or religious aspects, we want the darkness to go away first before we can bring in the light. Somehow we are thinking reverse when it comes to this religion or spirituality. Oh, I have to become pure before God can enter me. God will only allow me if I am a pure, devout believer. So we are trying to send the darkness away all our life without bringing the light. Do you think it is possible? Even conceptually. So in meditation, so this is the real idea of meditation. In meditation, we are turning on that light switch. We are bringing the light into our every essence of our being. And So naturally, all these negative tendencies, everything must drop as we allow the divine to permeate our every being. Correct? So that is exactly what meditation is all about. Meditation is not about concentration, making mind peace, making mind calm, you know. Even the concept of not liking our ideas, we want to annihilate them. See, this idea which I started, right? What you don't like, you want to destroy. What you like, you want to destroy yourself for that liking. Either way is only destruction. That's why they say in all incarnated so called God figures, they all came for only for destruction. And this concept is there in every religion, pretty much. God is always coming to kill, destroy, and evil. But the concept of masters is different. They neither rejected the evil nor loved the good. That's why Jesus says, I'm not here for saints, I am here for sinners too. Because they did not reject anyone. That's why the so called masters are always worked on ennobling humanity, elevating humanity. Because there was no judgment. They did not think about neither darkness nor light. So that's why they never tried to overcome anything. They only invited what is necessary, what is required, what is important. So meditation is a process to invite this higher essence, so that all my boundaries, all my negatives, all my limitations are dissolved. And I'm not even thinking, I'm not doing this to dissolve them. I'm only doing this to bring the essence in. So there is no concept of destroying anything, you know. So we're going above it. The simple concept I'll tell you, in when we were doing in our engineering, we are supposed to do this, what is called engineering drawing. Suppose you want to give it to a carpenter to make a cylinder, a wooden cylinder. How would you tell the carpenter to make a wooden cylinder? So to represent it, so one view of the cylinder is a rectangle. The side view of the cylinder is a rectangle. The top view of the cylinder is a circle. I cannot just give a circle to a woodmaker and say make a cylinder with the circle. He won't be able to know what is the height of the cylinder or the width of the cylinder. Right? So both are required. So in order to represent a three-dimensional on a paper is a two-dimensional. With one diagram, I cannot represent a three-dimensional element on a two-dimensional picture. But whereas when I am looking at it, a cylinder, I am looking at the whole three-dimensional picture because my vision is three-dimensional. But we cannot see what the fourth dimension, we cannot see the fifth dimension, we cannot see the sixth dimension. So in order to experience the higher dimensions, I have to be one level above the dimensions. Then only I have a complete, what should I say? I should not say control, but the regulation, ability to interact with it. So meditation is also taking us to this nth dimension because Like I started in the beginning, no one has exhausted this topic of the higher essence, spirituality or religion. No one has exhausted it. Because when we verbalize it, just like you're representing a 2-dimensional, 3-dimension on the 2-dimensional paper, it loses its completeness. You cannot represent it as it is. So whenever you verbalize something, it falls short of what we are talking about, this higher essence. So no words can exhaust it. But we want to appreciate only the words. We don't want to appreciate the real. So every meditation is an opportunity to appreciate the real. And how would you describe your experience of meditation? No words are enough. It doesn't describe, it's not complete. Only it is your own personal experience. And no one master can transfer his personal experience to yours. Nor no one can feel or realize your personal experience. So it is truly yours. And you, as you refine it, you feel it. Okay. So that's why this practice of meditation is not just few things as we understand. It's not about concentration, calming your mind. There are so many people have talked about brain waves, this waves and that waves. But that's all to humor ourselves on this journey. But the real thing is that half an hour you sit in your meditation. That's the real thing. Okay. So I'll stop here, and for any comments, questions, observations.
So instead of using the word dissolving, we should say that we're actually transcending on likes and dislikes.
But likes and dislikes are only one of the opposites, but there are many. Right? Yeah. I mean, transcending.
That word transcend, when you say we have to transcend it.
Correct. Transcending is at one aspect. That's one dimension. Dissolving is another dimension. So what is being dissolved is our concept of all these limitations. So limitation is not a like and dislike.
Does, right? Huh? The cleaning process does that, correct?
No, cleaning process does not dissolve the limitations. And that happens in meditation only. Cleaning process only removes the impressions, not all these limitations. We don't. As we are transcending, we are crossing all the boundaries, all the limitations. So there are multiple dimensions. So it's an expansion in multiple dimensions. That's why we use the word expansion of consciousness, because it's a multidimensional. It's not like a 3D expansion. All these boundaries are, you cannot say removed. We are using the word dissolved, but to begin with, they're all imaginary boundaries we are dissolving.
So are these our thoughts? Are these limitations and boundaries our thoughts?
Our own limitation of approach. Because we don't want to see
on everything in life, or just about meditation and realization?
Everything in life is they're all our projections only. Everything or anything in our life is all our projections. When these projections are removed, then we start to begin to experience the real life. Otherwise, it's all our own creation. Even though we say there is a creator, we never entered the world of the creator, because we are living in the world which we created. When we transcend, we enter the world of the creator. Maybe that is the real heaven. I don't know. So that's why meditation is for that process. Meditation is to enter the real world. And that's why I'm using the word dissolve, means dissolving all our projections. I mean, they're not real to begin with, they're only imaginary. Okay.
So that's like shooting at air, right? How do you dissolve something which is not real?
That's why I'm saying the word dissolve is not anything like a dissolution in a very literal sense. Your projection, see, you project something onto a wall through the projector, right? You turn off the projector is gone. What is projected onto the wall is gone. Right? So then you see you're looking at the real wall, not some imaginary picture on the wall. So that's why when we transcend, the word dissolve is that's why I'm saying whenever you put something into the verb verbally, you can never convey the real meaning. Only experientially you can understand the real meaning.
Yeah.
So
Okay. And so are illusions the same as projections?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so let's get into meditation now.